Hello and welcome back to the Spiritual Shit Show. My name is Julie Nguyen, and sometimes I just offer a lot of thought babble here because it's what I am processing. And sometimes what I am processing is also what is happening collectively, energetics, emotions. I love astrology, but I'm not one to offer astrology, but I do think when we say it's in the collective, I really think it's in the stars. When things are shifting, we may all feel a little bit more intense or a little bit more scattered or a little bit more courageous or a little bit more whatever it is. So I think a lot of the times when we're feeling things in the collective, it's because we are all universally tied to what's happening in the stars and we are just feeling that flow and riding that ride. So I wanted to share these thoughts that I am having because I just recorded a podcast about, what this really means to be in your own becoming, the art of becoming oneself. The privilege of a lifetime is to know, to become, to be who you already are. And I will say for me, which I find myself still hesitating to talk about it because there's a need to protect. And also there's a fear of what if this comes back to get me? So there's a little bit of fear about speaking my truth around all of this, but I grew up with a narcissist. And then most of my adulthood was also wrapped up quite tightly with this person. And I have a sweet friend, and she said, I don't believe in narcissism. I just believe in deeply traumatized people. So there is a lot of compassion of seeing, how somebody has been shaped into their life. Again, it doesn't make their actions right, but there can be a compassionate understanding of how they got there. And in all of that, a lot of people who have come out of narcissistic relationships, then you begin. I always say we need our own 12-step program because it's fucking wild. It's wild when you begin the healing process and you begin to realize how much of your voice, your identity, your power, your friendships, your life was at the time being stripped from you. Your energy was being stripped from you. And also when you cut it, it's so hard to trust yourself because you were wrapped up into this space of being gaslit all the time. And I remember when I first became a life coach and, I'll stop calling them the narcissist. They played a very powerful role in my becoming. They were the pressure that added to my spiritual discoveries and psychic gifts. And also this very tumultuous space, which I've called the spiritual shit show of, the unraveling of self. And a lot of the times we hear that metaphor of, it's the caterpillar, and then the caterpillar goes through this whole metamorphosis, and it literally becomes goo and nothing, and then it becomes a beautiful butterfly. And when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, that's so sweet. That's what I'm doing. But no, girl, when you are in that goo part, it can last for fucking ever. It's going to last longer than you want it to because it's just so uncomfortable. It is so stripping. It is so disorienting. And this is what I mean when I say we can read about these things. We can read spiritual context. We can read about, the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly, but to actually experience it and to actually embody the works of becoming, it can be a shit show. Which is also why I'm here creating this podcast, because I want to support you in the normalizing of it all so you can feel supported in any stage that you're at. And so that you know that when it is feeling hard and dark and heavy and fucking uncomfortable and you're over it and it's lasted way too long, but you're still in it and you can't see a way out of it, I am here. I am here to support you in this process. But I remember when I first became a life coach and my really incredible spiritual teacher, would always wave her hand in my face and say, I don't know, you're the life coach, you tell me. Or I don't know, you're the Reiki master, you tell me. Or I don't know, you're the spiritual, like whatever, you get the point. And so in that, I was like, damn. So then what do I need to look like so I can become the life coach, so I can become the Reiki master? And I think I've told this story before. My very first coaching client, I was meeting them at a coffee shop the same way I first met my life coach. And so I put on a professional looking outfit and I was going to show up, and I got in my car and I was like, Julie, what are you doing? And then I was like, this is not you. And so I paused myself and I was like, okay, if I could have this any way I want, what would I do? What would I wear? And it was like, I would go inside and put on jeans and my Converse and a t-shirt, and that's how I'm going to show up. And I was like, okay, I should do that because that is authentically me. That is not me cosplaying something that somebody else thinks that it should look like to be respected or responsible or professional or whatever. Because the work is that. The work is, if I can show up authentically myself, that is the magic. That is the power. And the same goes for you too. The space of allowing myself to become, especially the first half of my life, which was so like magically turbulent, meaning it was magical in so many aspects and there's so many parts to be grateful for. And it has opened a door for me to have loads of compassion for myself of like, whoa, like you were 21 with a business and dance moms. Wow. Or you had at one point 2 dance studios and 0 guidance, like 0 mentors, but you did that shit. Wow. Or you finally had enough and you had to come out of it. That also I've had to really become my own cheerleader. And that is what we need. And now in the collective, we are all finding our tribe as well. So know that your tribe is out there. Whatever it is that you need is available to you. And I am so grateful to have now been able to find my tribe. What a blessing. What a fucking blessing. It is fun. And it takes me a lot of work to practice, to embrace people, that they will love me with me being me. Because there is still that noise from my past of you're not lovable or you're crazy or they don't like you or all of those types of things. And again, becoming my own cheerleader has been so important. Now, what does this look like to be yourself? I have to consciously do it every single day. And in that choosing, I also have to consciously choose how I am loving how I am showing up that day and giving myself loads and loads and loads of sometimes grace, sometimes like, there's that belief system. And I'll just tell you, a lot of this work too, the spiritual work, was a realization of how much I inherited from my family line. And there is a great book out there called It Didn't Start With You. Let me find the author, but it talks about transgenerational trauma and how that's passed along. And when I was with my dad at the end of the night, especially when we would take him out to meet people, he would always say, "Was I good?" "Yeah, Dad, what do you mean?" "Well, I didn't say anything stupid, right? Like, people like me, right? Like, I didn't do anything that people wouldn't like me, right?" And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the story I tell myself and ask myself. And those are the feelings that I feel every time I leave a social situation. I'm okay, right? People like me, right? I didn't say anything offensive, right? I didn't say anything that would make people not like me, right? I'm still good, right? Having my dad put a voice to that, I was like, damn, I don't know how much of this is me or how much of this I've just inherited from my father. And when those things creep up, I just have to question it now. Like, is this really me, or is this an inherited thing, or what else can I tell myself? And so lately it's like, it's fine. Like, it is what it is. You were who you were. And in this practice of self-love and self-acceptance, accept how you showed up. And there's always room for improvement. So if you want to reflect about, what you could have said better, or how you reacted, or how you, whatever, it's fine, because this is the practice. This is the practice. And then next time when you show up in a social situation, maybe you just practice how to ground before you get into the situation, or maybe you're being forced to practice listening more and talking less. Maybe. So it's all part of the process. It's all part of the learning. It's all part of, the growth, the art of becoming. And then it leads to the question, so who am I, and how do I really want to show up without the fear of judgment, without the backstory of, what my once very powerful spiritual teacher, how they would push me into thinking certain things about myself. The real work is that true? And do I believe that anymore? And how can I continue to authentically show up as myself? Period. And again, this takes work. It takes a lot of self-awareness. It takes a lot of self-forgiveness. It takes a lot of self-compassion. And then, as always, just as we breathe, we continue to meet it again and again and again and again. What is real for me? What is true for me? What does this look like for me to show up? And the cool part is, I realize that when I really allow myself to show up as myself without needing to dress a certain way or mask anything, I actually can be of such brilliant service to other people. My work becomes better because I get to show up as myself, and the work, the authentic work, gets to flow through me. And that has been a really cool reminder too. I teach in dance studios, and I always teach that the magic is you, that the spark and the work and the, what people gravitate towards, it's you, it's your authentic magic. And I think that message, not only do I need to continue to hear, but it's a universal message that truly the magic is you. How you authentically show up, allowing yourself to feel, to be, to create, to express, to experience. That's the spark, that the magic is you. And when we can show up in our authenticity, our human mess, our spiritual wisdom, our ability to say and know that you're an ever evolving work in progress, and actually the work is never done, ever. It's never done. Then this how do I can blend with into the service of we. And how can I be of service to you? And how can I empower and inspire and hold and support you? But it starts with the remembrance of the I first. And connecting back into the I. I am loving. I am powerful. I am an ever work in progress. I am graceful. I am strong. I am witty. I am whatever the I am is for you. And then when you can ground into your I am, then it's like, oh yeah, I can really show up for you now too. Now I can show up for you the way I want to show up for you. And now I have the capacity to be a support system for you. And we are a small I in the bigger sea of we. Meaning that when I recognize my light, my power, my strength, my gifts, and I own that and connect with that, then that power ripples out into the world as loving kindness, compassionate support, love. And we all need that love now more than ever. So I'm going to continue to practice. What does this feel like if I authentically show up as myself in my gifts, in my offerings, in what I believe, wrapped in compassion and understanding and love, deepening more and more into who I am, what I desire, constantly questioning the things that might be holding me back, like, do I really think I'm worthy of love, success, money, a program that people want to participate in? Do I believe that, whatever it is? So I'm going to continue to practice these other things. Where am I holding myself back? What's the hook here? How is it serving me? And then how can I gently release it? And then how can all of that become just a fun service for other people as well? Isn't it fun to be human? Some people say no. I don't want to return into this human form. And I think I always return to this human form because there's so much to learn and there's so much to experience and there's so much to become. And as I continue to gently awaken to the truth of who I am, we teach, learn, teach. That I hope by listening to this too, some of these questions or this very vulnerable share offers you time and space to begin to reflect on who you are as well. What do I believe in about myself? Do I believe I'm worthy of love, of good relationships, of success, of money, of whatever? What's holding me back? What are my fears? To begin to cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness, a deeper anchoring into the power of your I am. Remembering I am love, I am kind, I am creative, I am. And then consciously choosing an empowering choice to show up as authentically you, as best as you can every day. To follow the impulses of authentic joy, love, expanding into possibilities in all directions, and then helping other people to see that possibility, that light within themselves as well. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Till next time.